Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm really excited about what we're digging into today. We're going to unpack some, well, pretty incredible and sometimes challenging developments happening right now across tech and science. Think of it as getting the essential insights you need fast.
Exactly. And our job today is to, cut through all the noise. We've gone through the sources you shared covering AI, yes, but also unexpected moves in space, even down to microscopic life. We want to help you get not just what's up, but why it actually matters, sort of the bigger picture. You should walk away feeling pretty well informed with some things to think about.
Okay, let's kick off with AI. It's always moving so fast. Google's Gemini family, your sources show it's expanding. Gemini 2.5 Pro is out of preview. It's stable now, which sounds like a big step.
It is, yeah. And what's maybe even more interesting is this new version, Gemini 2.5 Flashlight. It's in preview now.
Flashlight. So what's the deal with that one?
Well, it's built specifically for high-volume AI tasks, but without the massive costs you usually associate with that, this could really open things up, make powerful AI much more accessible.
Accessibility is key. And you mentioned these models are already working behind the scenes.
That's right. If you look at the bigger picture, custom versions are already running in Google Search's AI overviews, AI mode, so they're already shaping how we find information online every day.
But here's something fascinating almost. Human. One source mentioned Gemini 2.5 Pro kind of panicking while playing Pokemon, leading to bad decisions under pressure.
Yeah, it's relatable, isn't it? It really highlights something crucial. Even these super capable AIs, they have performance nuances, especially under simulated stress. It affects their reasoning.
So it's not just about raw power.
Exactly. It's about robustness, how they handle the unexpected. Even in a game, you see these little vulnerabilities pop up.
Okay, shifting gears from Google's refinements to, well, sheer scale and spending. Elon Musk's XAI, the numbers are just, wow. Sources say around $1 billion a month.
It's staggering, yeah. And if you connect the dots, they're trying to raise something like $9.3 billion in debt and equity.
$9.3 billion.
Right. And they expect to burn through more than half of that in just the next 3 months. Projections hit maybe $13 billion total over 2025.
So where's all that money going?
Mostly server farms, these huge data centers, and the incredibly expensive specialized chips you need to train these massive AI models. It really raises the question, is this kind of spending sustainable for everyone trying to compete in AI? It suggests maybe only the really, really deep pockets can play at this level.
And it's not just financial pressure. Your sources also point to a lawsuit, something about a data center near Memphis.
Yeah, they're getting sued over operating natural gas turbines, apparently without the right permits. A Clean Air Act violation.
So tech challenges, massive costs, and regulatory hurdles.
Exactly. It shows how complex this whole AI development thing is. It's not just about the code. It's about infrastructure, regulations, environmental impact. It's multifaceted.
And then there's the human element, the talent. The sources mention Meta offering just insane amounts of money, like over $100 million packages, to lure people from OpenAI and Google DeepMind.
Yeah, those figures definitely grab your attention. But what's really interesting is Sam Altman's take on it.
OpenAI CEO, what did he say?
He basically suggested it hasn't really worked that well for Meta. His thinking is that focusing just on huge paychecks instead of having a really strong, compelling mission like delivering AGI, artificial general intelligence, maybe doesn't build the best culture in the long run.
So mission versus money for top talent.
It really makes you wonder, right? In such a competitive field, what really draws and keeps the best minds? Is it the vision or the paycheck? Or some combination?
Okay, let's bring this down to, well, us, the workforce. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy sent out a memo mentioned in the sources. He expects fewer corporate jobs in the coming years because of generative AI tools.
Yeah, that's the gist. Fewer people doing the same jobs we see today, and maybe more people shifting into different kinds of roles that work alongside AI.
That sounds like a pretty big shift coming.
It definitely signals something broader than just Amazon or big tech. This idea that AI might sort of hollow out traditional entry-level knowledge worker roles. It suggests people really need to think strategically about adapting their skills.
So the question becomes, how do companies prepare for that?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? And speaking of AI interacting with the real world in unexpected ways, there was that funny detail about Tumblr's AI moderation chaos.
Oh, right. Mislabeling cat GIFs and art as mature.
Exactly. Even pictures of hands. It just shows these weird glitches that pop up when you try to apply AI rules to the messiness of actual human content online.
Okay, let's pivot completely. Away from AI for a moment. Honda. The The car company launching rockets.
I know, right? It sounds like something out of left field. But yeah, they successfully launched and landed a small prototype reusable rocket.
Wow. How big are we talking?
It was about 20.6 feet tall, reached just under 900 feet altitude in a test in Japan.
So baby steps, but still. Rockets.
Definitely. And the bigger picture here is they're aiming for suborbital flight by 2029. They haven't decided on commercializing it yet, but still. It makes you think, what does it mean when a traditional manufacturing giant dives into something so futuristic, like reusable rockets? It definitely stretches the definition of a car company.
From the huge scale of rockets down to the absolutely tiny. This next one is wild. Microbe. Suganarchium.
Well,
with the tiny, tiny genome.
yeah, this one really duns your brain a bit. It's not a virus, but its whole existence seems to be just making more of itself, like a parasite.
So it doesn't do anything helpful for its host.
Apparently not. It seems to just focus its genes on copying its own DNA and basically stealing everything else it needs, resources, machinery, from the organism it lives on.
So how does that change how we think about life?
Well, it really pushes at the edges, you know? The line between cellular life and viruses gets blurrier. What does it actually mean to be alive versus just infectious? This thing challenges those definitions. It makes us reconsider the bare minimum needed for something biological to just keep going.
Fascinating. Okay, let's touch on some foundational tech stuff, the things running in the background. Redis 8.0 is out.
Yep. Sources mentioned the release. Comes with new features, performance boosts, over 30 of them apparently, and they renamed the Community Edition to Redis Open Source.
Making it clear it's accessible. That's important for so much web infrastructure.
Absolutely. And connecting to that idea of solid foundations, another source brought up double entry ledgers, but for software, calling it a missing primitive.
Double entry like in accounting. How does that apply to software?
Kind of, yeah. The idea is instead of just storing the current state, like a balance, you record the whole history, how you got there, where things came from, step by step. There's an upfront cost to build it that way, sure, but think about the clarity, the audit trail you get over time.
Right, you could see exactly how a value changed.
Precisely. So the question is, how could adapting that basic accounting idea for software boost transparency and reliability? You could use it in finance, obviously, but also inventory, logs, almost anywhere you need a rock-solid history.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, a less positive note, but an important one. Digital security and stability. There was a major hack.
Yeah, Iran's biggest crypto exchange, Nobitex. Sources say $90 million drained from their hot wallet. That's a huge hit.
90 million, ouch. And related, or maybe unrelated, a massive internet outage in Iran.
That's right. Connectivity just plummeted, down something like 97% compared to the week before, and apparently no clear reason given for why it happened.
Wow, so a major hack and a near-total internet blackout.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it, how crucial cybersecurity is, and maybe how fragile some of this digital infrastructure can be. As we get more connected, we absolutely have to keep shoring up defenses against attacks, but also against these kinds of unexplained disruptions. It's a constant battle, really.
So wrapping this all up, what's the big picture from today's deep dive? We've seen incredible AI progress, but also huge costs and even personality quirks. Plus, unexpected players like Honda jumping into space, and tiny microbes challenging biology.
Yeah, we covered a lot. From how AI might change jobs, to car companies aiming for orbit, to rethinking life itself with things like succinarcutium. We hope you feel a bit more dialed in, maybe a little more curious after digging into all this with us.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us on this exploration. We really appreciate you taking the time to dive deep with us today.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Keep thinking, keep asking questions, keep exploring.
And maybe leave you with this thought to chew on. What does it really mean for our world when the lines between science fiction and just everyday reality seem to be blurring faster than ever? Across AI, space, even how we define life itself?